Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Carlos Granados podcast. And today I have another special guest bringing us an update with her life. But before we get to her, I want to thank you guys for everything that you've shown me recently. I think it was today I uploaded a picture of you guys and the love that you guys have shown me in my channel. That we have 500 downloads already on all the audio platforms for my podcast. That's excluding YouTube, of course, away from the view. So I appreciate you guys so much. I love to forget that you can subscribe to the channel, and also you can listen to this podcast on Amazon Music, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. But without further ado, let me introduce you again to Miranda. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me again.
Yeah, so last time we recorded, it was not a podcast episode. Last time it was like a regular YouTube thing, but now I'm bringing you on the podcast so we can make this a podcast episode. And then, of course, we're gonna have some shorts eventually for the people to see and other people who are suffering or dealing with similar issues like you are. But the last time we left off, you basically told us your life story, which is like wild, right? But today I feel like I wanted you to share with us, first of all, some of the updates that you have for us and what's the process has been like since we left off. So if you want to start off with that, letting us know how you're doing, what's been going on in your life recently, and then give us an update on what's been going on with your pulmonary fibrosis.
Okay. So I think since last time we spoke, I was just barely getting in the process of like getting listed. I wasn't listed yet. I think they had deferred me. Like they had put me on pause. They weren't going to give me a yes or a no answer if I was going to get listed or not, because I had like come across a bump, which was the esophageal manometry test that I
Oh,
had. Yeah,
oh
that
my
was
God.
there.
Can you
But
share that experience, by the
yeah.
way, what that
Uh,
was like for you? Because I know I've gotten one before, and I want to hear your experience.
well, the test itself sucked. It was horrible. I think I did the pH and PNS one too, like the 24-hour one. That
Oh
one
my
I couldn't eat
God.
at all. It was very, very painful. And then also the manometry test was I couldn't breathe. I didn't have my oxygen on because they were going through my nose, I believe.
Through your nostril,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah.
Honestly, it's like kind of like a blur. It hasn't even been like 6 months. I don't remember. I have to go back to my videos because I recorded it. Um, they went through my nose. They couldn't put the probe down my nose right, and they were
Mm-hmm.
hurting me. They were hurting my nasal passage on both sides. I had
Mm.
nosebleeds. They were trying to bring it down, and they couldn't. And then it wasn't monitoring well. I basically failed that test.
Oh
They said that
no.
my esophagus wasn't really working well, and I wasn't digesting food as I was supposed to, and that was like the only issue with the lung transplant evaluation. And then they had given me like an option to sign off before considering me putting on the list if um if I was gonna be getting the lungs, I would have
Mhm.
to, in exchange, accept that I was gonna accept a feeding tube for life. So it would be from
Yeah.
my nose first for the first like 4 to 6 months,
Mhm.
which is protocol for everyone that gets a lung transplant. It's not always 4 to 6 months for everyone, but for me, it will be because technically I will be having it for life, like quote unquote, and then they would like transfer it to the belly button one, like next to the belly button, like in the tummy, straight in the stomach. And I haven't really looked into that a lot because I'm letting things flow. They did say that there was like a
Mhm.
10% chance that I might not need that, for life feeding tube. And I'm holding on to that. Like I'm holding on to it.
That
That
10%.
yeah, there's like hope there. So I'm just not trying to focus my mind so much into that very drastic change in my lifestyle post transplant. But that
So
was the only issue.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I do have a question because I think this is important to kind of remind us. So can you remind us the reason that you can't you probably will have a feeding tube is
Mhm.
because you have problems with your swallowing and your food, correct? That's the reason you were doing the testing, like the manometry testing and then the 24-hour esophageal study?
So those tests are actually part of the transplant process. So whenever I went through the process, I went through like numerous amounts of testings from head to toe. I'm talking about like full body scans, bone density scans,
Oh,
swallow tests, a bunch of CT scans, a bunch of blood work drawn. What else? Got to check my teeth, make sure that everything's good to
wow.
go, like from head to toe, everything. Dermatologist, psychologist, like everything. Everything checked off. I was like almost a perfect candidate, but then that's where that was the last test I did, and that's where I hit the bump. So basically, I don't have issues swallowing.
Mm,
I have issues with the food staying stuck around my sternum and not going down properly. It just kind of drops like with gravity. That's what they said.
uh-huh.
So with that being said, they were concerned that because I have issues with my esophagus and I don't have the proper muscle anymore, it's kind of like gone. They said that it would be
Mm,
like high risk with new lungs because I would aspirate food into the new lungs, and then since I would be immunocompromised from the lifetime medications for their anti-rejection medications, my
right.
body will not be able to fight off those infections or whatever food, aspirates into the new lungs.
Wow, and we don't even think about that as like human beings. Like when you are healthy, you don't think about that food can do so much damage to you. And the
Mhm.
craziest part is you need food and being able to drink water to live. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So simple things as food, and I know that I have a little bit of appreciation for eating and stuff like that. Since I started suffering from GERD and other acid reflux and regurgitation, so with you telling me that, I understand just a little bit of what you're going through. Obviously, not to the extent that you're going through, but how crazy that is. But keep going.
Well, I mean, pretty much that's the only bump that I've had so far
Hmm.
with my transplant, and then I signed off on being able to accept that feeding tube if it were to come to that. They approved my transplant listing almost 2 months ago. I don't have the exact date because honestly,
Awesome.
I've been living. I wish I had that date on my mind right now. It's somewhere around March, but I think it was like March 12th. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But it's just like I've been at first when I got listed, it was like unreal. I cried a little bit. My husband was like crying too. It was
Oh
like
man, I'll be
so
crying
nervous.
too.
Yeah. Once I got that email and I was reading the official letter, I was like,
Hmm.
damn, this is so real. Like this is getting real. I shared it with my peers, and I shared it on Instagram, just to update everyone who's been following me since me going public with my story.
Your journey, yeah.
I've had nothing but positive thoughts and vibes from everyone. It's been slow, and I thought it was gonna be something quick, but it's been pretty slow because I'm considered a tough case with having someone match me because of my
Mm,
antibodies. So that's actually another factor that plays really big into matching with someone like a donor because
mm,
of the antibodies. I have high antibodies, so that makes it harder for me to find a perfect match. And it's very important to find someone so close to your antibody. They're kind of close to your profile, so your body doesn't reject the lungs.
gotcha. Which is
Mhm.
important. Two questions, by the way. So one of them, can you explain to the people exactly what being listed means? Because I remember you telling me something along the lines. I thought originally that being listed, you got listed all around America, but it's not the case, right? Uh, right. Can you explain?
Yeah.
So what exactly is that? So you can educate us.
So I actually thought that too. I thought that once you're listed, you're listed. Yeah, and even when I was listed, like I was active already on the list, I was like, oh man, they're gonna come out from anywhere in the nation, like 50
Right.
states, like anywhere. So I'm based in Texas. And I went to the UNO's website because I was like, kind of doing some digging to learn more about it. And there's regions. There's I don't know how many regions there are, but there's multiple regions. Let's say I want to say six-ish or seven regions, and they divide them by states. So my region is only 2 states. It's Texas and Oklahoma. So that and I'm active in Texas because that's where
Oh,
my home hospital is. So since my hospital approved me, like, the transplant, um, facility that I'm at is in Texas, which is my home hospital, I can only receive, the donor lungs from Texas or Oklahoma. So
oh
I'm not
wow.
active like, if I have, like, the perfect match, like, in California, like, they won't go to me, they will go to someone else because I'm not active in California, and if I wanna be active in California, I have to go to California to another hospital, I have to do the evaluation again with them, or they have to be able to accept my eval from here, from Texas,
Hmm.
just for me to, like, go straight to, listing over there. But then insurance comes into place. So if my
Oh,
insurance
right.
is willing to have me listed on 2 different states at the same time, and then also if I'm in Texas and they call me in California, I have to fly out and make sure that I'm there on time for the lungs. So it's just better to stay at home.
Right, got you. So what if like the person in California, for example, what if nobody's a match? Is it a possibility that they reach to another states, or do you know, or it's at like
You know, it's kinda tough saying that no one's a match because you're trying to, there's other factors that play with it. So let's say
oh,
there's a
okay.
donor available. Um, the match, it's like a percentage. There's matches that are like perfect matches. There's matches that are not so perfect.
Mm,
There's high risk lungs. There's lungs that are not viable, meaning that they're not even like, able to be transplanted. There's lungs that have like, they could be a perfect match and then they have a very minor like defect. Let's say that they have
mhm,
maybe some kind of issue. Once they see them, they're not in perfect state, so they're not even worth getting them transplanted. So it's
right,
not about having like a perfect match, like matching in more of a like, I guess, DNA or whatever you want to say like
right.
that. But I would say that no organ goes to waste. They would just give it to the next person that is as close as possible matching.
Gotcha. And can you remind me again? Do you? I think you told me. Does the size of the person matter as well? I think
Yes.
you told me that if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. So, everyone's chest size or torso, um, it's different, obviously. So I would not be able to get lungs from a man that's 6 feet tall. I'm 5'3"
Mm,
and I'm a small person, so I would probably have to get lungs from someone that matches my description, I would say around the same
mm,
size, because I mean, they're not gonna cut the lungs any smaller and risk
right.
them from getting like, I would say, some kind of infection or whatever because they're like cutting them
Yeah.
smaller. It's just not worth
Yeah.
it, to be honest. So, that's part of the matching process too. And then also, blood type and stuff like that.
You know, I don't know if you saw this. So, I couple weeks ago, I had a friend that passed away, and she was a female, and she was young. She was smaller size. I think she was 5 foot something. And after I got the news, I felt obviously devastated. But I thought about you. I was like, because she died in a car accident. I
Mm,
was like, in this situation, I would have loved to like go to the family and be like, yo, is there any way that you can? But I didn't know about like really her passing until a couple of days later. And of course, the family and I and their family, we haven't been as close for a long time.
mhm,
So obviously, I'm not gonna go up to them and say anything. But I thought about you. I was like,
right.
I wonder if like her lungs could like fit Miranda since like, but obviously a lot more goes into it than just like you explained, than just the
So,
lungs itself of a person, right? But
yeah.
I thought about it and I was like, man, what a beautiful story that would have been if like, that could have been an option. But I don't know what actually they did with her body. I don't know if they cremated her or they just, bury her or whatnot. But
Mhm.
I thought about you and I was like, yeah, Carlos, it's not that simple.
Yeah, no, it's not. And my
It's not that
condolences to
simple.
your friend. I'm so sorry to hear that. But
Thank
yeah,
you.
I've heard there's cases about that there's I think came across something on my Facebook from the transplant group that I'm in, that there was someone that lost their friend from pulmonary hypertension. Was a different It's a different lung disease from what I have, and they wanted their loved one to specifically donate to another person with PH, and they were able to do a
Oh.
direct donation to the person that needed lungs, which is crazy. Like it's like
So that is a possibility. Like
it
you can
is
do direct donations.
it is, but I think that the
Wow.
recipient was a child. That's the
Mm.
different part. The recipient was a child, or the donor was a child. It was a young girl that passed away with her mother in a car accident. I remember now. And she had pulmonary hypertension. Or the family, no, I'm sorry, the family had pulmonary hypertension. I don't know who it was, someone, and then they were like so close to it, that pH thing, and then they gave it to someone that needed lungs, and they were a match. I have no idea how that worked, but that
Like
person was very
the
lucky to
process.
receive the lungs.
Wow. What a
Hmm.
story. What a
Yeah.
story. So then since the last time we spoke, do you how are your testings now? Like are they have they gotten better? What's your percentage of your lung capacity? Have you been tested for that? I know you get tested often. Like what can you give us an update on what's that's been like?
So since we last spoke, I kind of I was kind of sick. I was still trying to like recover from the energy. I wasn't really active. I wasn't really doing much. I was trying
Mhm.
to walk, work out, keep myself active. It was very tough. I had so much fatigue. So my testings, they stayed the same from last time as far as like breathing, with the PFTs and all that stuff. My percentage is still in the low 20s. It hasn't gotten worse, which is good.
Okay.
But it hasn't gone better either. But the good thing is that I did notice that my CK levels from my myositis are in the normal range. Like finally, they're in the green, which is good.
Let's go.
It is. And that's actually like very important in my transplant process, because they want to make sure that my myositis is like controlled before I get the lungs, because my myositis, if it's crazy and it's not controlled, they won't transplant me.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
they
even
said that
that
they need to control
has to
it
be
because
good.
yeah, they're like your myositis needs to be controlled, because if it's not controlled, if it's not like what's that word called? Like whenever it's like in remission, I guess. Either in remission or under control, we won't transplant you. We might just pause you again, because your myositis is it's such
Mm,
a very bad disease that it will attack the lungs. And I'm just like, okay. But so
gotcha.
far I've been pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Mhm.
That's amazing. Now, let me ask you a deep question. I guess this is more of a personal question, but let's say hopefully that everything goes right and you end up getting a transplant. Now, as a someone who's gone through surgeries before, obviously not nowhere near what you've had, but I've had a catheter ablation, which is a heart surgery. I had
Mm.
stomach surgeries in the past. I've been put under plenty of times. I'm not proud to say that, but I ain't gonna lie, some of that sleep is one of the best sleep you get in your lifetime. You know what I mean? They put you lights out.
Yeah.
But I guess as a personal question, what are your looks on the surgery? And there's a possibility that it could not work out, just like any surgeries. How do you look up? How do you go about that?
Mm.
What is your look on that, and what do you think about that? I know it's a deep question, but
Yeah.
I'm really curious of what's your look on that. Or maybe are things so bad to the point where like you're willing to risk it and you're willing to pay the price of whatever happens, right?
So I'm glad you asked that, because I haven't really told people this. But recently my pulmonologist told me about 2 weeks ago that I need to gain weight, because I was losing weight. And this you'll understand why I'm saying this. I was losing weight, I needed to gain weight. They're like, you need to gain weight. This is very, very important because of the surgery, it's high risk. Like you're becoming more high risk if you don't gain weight, and you need to start being more active if you don't become more active and start working your your feet, your legs. You need to straighten your legs more, because they're gonna put
Wow.
me to walk as soon as I wake up from surgery. They're gonna put me to walk. And then I need to have strength in my legs. and I need my chest to be strong for surgery. My arms and my chest. So
Mm,
I was like, it was kind of like a wake up call. He said that if I don't focus on that, I will become more high risk, meaning that I might not survive the surgery. So
wow.
it was a wake up call because ever since he told me that, and I had already knew that, but I didn't know it was that serious. When he told me like the second time, I was like, you know what am I doing? And I just one day I just had like a burst of energy, and I'm not kidding you. Like ever since that next day, I have not stopped working out. I
Wow.
did 2.5 miles yesterday nonstop on the treadmill. I am doing upper body workouts. I went back to physical therapy twice a week. And I've been walking on that treadmill and I've been closing my circles on my Apple Watch every day. Like I'm like
Wow.
so surprised with myself. I'm like, I've never been an active person. I've never liked working out. I've hated walking my whole life because I've always been short of breath. And I just bump up that oxygen to like 7 liters and I'm like walking and walking. I'm like, I'm gonna survive this surgery. So it's kind of scary knowing that it's high risk. And I also gained weight. I went 120 now, so I'm just like
Let's
so happy.
go.
Yes,
Is there like a
I'm
certain amount of weight that you have to weigh? Like, what did he say? Like, you just need to gain weight in general, or is it like a certain like limit that you have to get to?
well, at the beginning, I was 103 whenever they took me in. They wanted
Oh,
me to be 115 by the time I got listed, which I was. But then when I saw him again, I was 109, which was no, I'm sorry, not 109. I'm sorry. I was 115 when I got listed, and then I
hmm,
was 112 when he saw me about 2.5 weeks ago. And I just
okay.
started eating and snacking like a bunch of things that I'm supposed to be eating to gain weight. And now
Hmm.
like I weigh 120. So I'm just like, I'm gaining weight like
Nice.
crazy. And I'm taking like these protein shakes that they're helping you gain weight. They have
Yeah.
like a lot of calories and stuff. So yeah, they just want me to gain weight because after surgery, I'm gonna lose it. They don't want me to be too skinny.
So skinny. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And I told you last time, I was like, when you were sending pictures for like the thumbnail, I was like, you look more vibrant. Like you look good. You look like the only thing that like if I see you, the reason I know you're something's wrong or you're sick is because of the tube that you have, right?
Mhm.
Or else I wouldn't even be able to tell that you are like dealing with any because you look really, really good. So I'm like, man, like this is you're getting better. And I didn't know that you were feeling really, really bad even when we recorded last time. Maybe you might have told me, but I might have forgot. But
Yeah.
man, that's something that like um I feel like it's a good sign, right? We're moving in the right direction. But talking about the moving forward, then what is like the plan from now on? So now is just a waiting game for your lungs.
Yes, it's just a waiting game. My phone is on do disturb me, please. Like I cannot put it on do not disturb.
You have
And
it on the
I
opposite.
was that type of person with like DND after 9 p.m. and 9 a.m. Do not call me. I will not answer. But now it's on loud speaker. My phone is not on silent anymore. It has to be on loud. I have to pick up any and every phone call I get in there. So if I get like those what's that collect calls, I gotta answer them.
The spams,
Yes,
the
spam
spams.
likely.
And that is because anytime a phone call can come in
Yes,
and it could be for a transplant.
yes, and it could be from. They said that it might not be a hospital number. It could just be a random number. It doesn't even have to be a local area code. It could be a random number, and I have to answer it. But my husband's
Mm.
I think he's second in place to receive the call if I don't pick up first, and then my mom and then my brother. But my brother's not gonna pick up. Like I have to answer it.
Dang. So you have to really be on the lookout
Yeah.
for just in case.
I want to be the one receiving that call. I don't want my mom or my brother to pick it up. Like I want to be the one getting that excitement. I don't want them to be like, "Hey, they called you for the new lungs. Go get ready."
Go
No.
straight to the hospital.
Yeah.
I wonder how you would feel that day. Because
I don't know.
yeah, because I don't know if you finished answering the question on like what are your thoughts on like you know on the
Surgery.
the risk and the
Yeah.
surgery and stuff like that. Are you just do you feel just excited because you believe that the outcome is just gonna be, I guess the upside is just so much better than, even risking, basically dying.
You know, I think it's worth it. I've always been a person that has risked myself, especially when it comes to something that I want.
Mm,
And I think me wanting to continue to live, I think it's worth the shot to at
yeah,
least try. And if I do pass away throughout during the surgery, if I don't make it, I can at least say that I tried to the
yeah,
very end. That's why I think it's to me it's worth it. I'm young, I have not lived all the way yet, live to my fullest. I have a 6-year-old daughter. I have a husband of almost 10 years. Like I want to continue to live and I will make it to the end. If it doesn't happen, I don't want to focus on that. Obviously, I don't want to focus on the bad. I want to focus on the good because I think it's also
correct.
mental. I got to
Yeah,
prepare my body. I got to prepare my mind for that
mhm,
very, very high risk surgery. But to
right.
me, it's worth it. It really is. And I just hope nothing but the best.
Yeah, that's a great mindset. I respect that. First of all, I respect the fact that you kind of, if you do go out, you want to go down swinging. You want to go down knowing
A
that you gave
warrior.
it a shot. Exactly. You know what's crazy? I don't know. This is very common in people who are dealing with health issues, but I feel the same way. I have the same sentiments. I'm in the point where, like, whatever happens to me, especially if it's through health issues, I want to go down fighting, man. I want my family
Yeah,
to know. I want to let them know, like, I fought. I didn't just give up. You know what I mean? And it takes some time to get to that mental space because
it
a lot of
does.
times it's just going down. But eventually you kind of start climbing up, and you're like, hey, you got one life, and this one life you want to fight. You want to leave something
Mhm.
behind, even if it's a small part of your legacy, so people
Yeah.
can remember that, especially your daughter.
Course. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. And I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'm gonna say, oh my God, how's Miranda always people always tell me like you're so resilient, you're so positive, and that's just what I show to people
Mhm.
because I mean, what's the point of being negative? I don't want to spread negativity. Like that's not what I
Right.
want to do. And I keep my negative thoughts to myself because I do have sometimes some days that I just feel like, oh my God, I'm defeated, like I'm done with this,
Right.
like just I'm over it. Like I just want to throw in the towel. And there was I think it was about a month ago that I did feel that type of way. I had like a little episode where I'm just like, I'm so done. Like I'm done. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, is this even worth it? I had those
Mhm.
thoughts. I did. And they're how can I say it? They're just very toxic.
Yeah.
And I had to snap out of it. And I'm just like, I just go to my phone and I look through my pictures and I see my daughter and I'm just like, there it goes. There's my
That goes
motivation.
your reason. Yeah, that
Yeah, and
goes
I
your
just
reason to
forget
fight.
about the negative stuff. I just clear my mind and start focusing on the future and try to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that so much. A lot of people don't see the fight that you go through. They hear sometimes about, like, your constant struggles because of, the constant updates you can give people. I know in my case I do. And they don't, and sometimes they're like, dude, you're so strong. How do you go about this? And you're making this thing happen, and you're so resilient, like you said. But, like, you don't know that last night I spent all night crying. You don't
Yeah,
know that last week, I felt like I don't want to live anymore. You don't know that I was literally down for the last 3 days, but I have to keep moving. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you have to keep pushing. And sometimes you don't understand where that strength come from, but sometimes you do. Sometimes, in my case, family, friends.
yeah,
For me, it's always been the kind of leaving, part of your testimony. You know what I mean? It's better, hard times are always going to be there. So why spend all the time, either down or just being ready to be
Yeah.
happy if hard times are gonna come and go. Might as well start trying to be happy while you can, even during the struggles,
Time.
and the situation that you go to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just focus on the try to focus on the good and not the bad. I honestly think that there's no reason for us to keep focusing on negative thoughts and blur our minds because it's really not worth it. Like the time, just
Yeah,
just focus on the good and try to try to make it through. Like life is not easy.
it's
It's not
not
easy, but you make the best out of it.
correct, man. Sometimes I wish that a lot of people that or the people that listen to my podcast or even watch the YouTube channel, sometimes I just wish like they see your story and they take that seriously. Like
Mhm.
the fact that you can just, if you, especially if people, if you don't have any health problems, for the most part you're doing well, how precious just a deep breath can be. Well, I mean, when is the last time that you were able to say that you were able to take a deep breath, Miranda? You know?
Oh, I don't
You can't
remember.
you can't remember. Yeah, it's been so long. And I wish people understood that sometimes the simple things as just breathing, being able to sleep normally, being able to go out without thinking about you carry your oxygen tank.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know sickness is it sucks, but people like me and you and a lot of people in this world, it gives perspective to life. How simple
Mhm.
things are so important and they can be so big. And once that's taken out or taken away from you, how like much you forgot to appreciate it, you
Yep.
forget that. You
Take
forget
it for
how
granted.
privileged you are. Exactly, man.
Mhm.
Exactly. And this is the reason why I love bringing people like you in my channel, because I don't want people to forget that. I want people to embrace and appreciate life
Mhm.
before things get taken away from it. Because gratitude is important to have, just being thankful for the little things. I know it sounds corny sometimes for people to say when people say it, but when people like us are saying it, I think they should, it has a little bit more value into like, yo, make sure you appreciate that part of life.
No, yeah, I definitely agree, and it's just simple things in life that people take for granted, like being able to cook, being able to drive yourself, shower yourself. Like, I don't think people understand how hard it is to feel that you need other people to take care of you to the T
Mm,
where they have to shower you, or they have to cook for
man,
you daily. Like, to me, at first, I felt a little useless. I felt like I was just there. I was just living. Like, I was just there. Um, I was just like a rag doll, I would say, maybe. I was just, I just existed. That's what I meant to say.
right, right,
And once I started feeling a little better, a little burst of energy that I've been having lately that I've been taking advantage of, I can finally feel like I'm a little bit more independent. And it's the little things like that that make me happy and make me continue to keep going. And for a person that's normal and has never really been sick, um, I don't think they'll ever understand where we're coming from in that perspective. They'll
right.
never be able to appreciate taking, you know, um, a shower on their own or being able to appreciate or feel how it is to be independent with being able to shower or
Yeah,
drive or cook on or clean their house by themselves unless they go through the struggle that we go through as people with that are chronically ill.
right. Yeah, one of the best examples I always give people is like, I remember when I was healthy and I was younger, I was able to sleep like 8 to 12 hours, no problem. Like it would sleeping was I would go to sleep whenever I wanted, and I will wake up and no problem. Never even a thought of what's going on. And now that I can't really go to sleep whenever I want to, I can't stay asleep for more than like 4 hours a night sometimes. Constantly waking up. It's like, man, I can't believe like I never appreciated such simple thing.
Mhm,
Obviously, there's no way for you to grasp and appreciate that because you feel like it's part of life. You feel like it's normal for you to sleep, right?
mhm,
But now is like, how much did I take that for granted? How simple it was just to
for
take my
sure.
ass to sleep. You know what I mean? It was like something so simple. So I appreciate you sharing that. I appreciate sharing that story. So going back to your lungs. So right now, in your lung update, so you don't need to do any more testings, no more updates, or is there still like a still process that you have to keep up until that phone call comes to you one day?
That's a good question. So basically, since I've been listed, the only thing that I have to do other than wait is like they have to keep monitoring my levels. I'm taking a new medication called Tacro, which is an anti-rejection med. They want to wean me off another medication that I'm on right now and just keep me on the Tacro so I can like start my body starts being introduced to it. So for post transplant. So right now they're just doing like um blood work every 2 weeks, make sure my tacro levels are in the good range. And then I'm also doing every month, they're doing a full blood panel and make sure that, everything is good with my white blood cells, my red blood cells, my CK levels, pretty much everything. And then also my antibodies, that they're still in the same range or lower, hopefully. But other than that, and then I also do, I think, monthly appointments with Transplant. I do my 6-minute walk,
Mm,
basic PFTs, and then just a follow up. And if I get sicker, I have to go tell them, and then they have to keep doing more testing to make sure that my lungs are either stable or if they got worse. And if they did get worse, they bump me up the list on my number so I can get
gotcha.
like lungs faster. But right now, I haven't really gotten sick. So I'm still in the same number. I think my number's 26. That's what they said, which is not that
Not that, not but
not
that much
that like
priority.
yeah, it's not a priority. I think it's like from 0 to 100. 0 being like you're not that sick, and then 100 is like you need lungs like now.
Right. That makes sense. So,
Mhm.
wow. Okay. So, quick questions. How many medications are you on, by the way? Like total?
So
You
right
don't
now,
know?
I'm not
Too
gonna
many.
lie. I've never liked being on medications, but I know after transplant I'm gonna be like on dozens of medications. So they say, but right now I'm on 2 prescription medications.
Okay.
I'm doing
That's good. That's
Tacro.
not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. I'm doing Tacro, I'm doing Xeljanz, which helps with my myositis. And then I'm just taking vitamin D once a week because I'm like super vitamin D deficient. And then I'm taking vitamin C supplements, iron, and then I'm taking another, I think it's another medication to help with to boost my, so I can get hungry. That's pretty much it.
Metabolism,
Boost up my
maybe.
metabolism? No, I think it's,
You're just get hungry.
no, I don't get hungry if I don't take it. Like I forget. I used to forget to eat. Like I
No
just like.
wonder you were weighing 100 pounds, girl.
I mean, I
Good
just
lord.
the food was just like, ugh, like I don't want it. Like I just wasn't. I would be hungry and I would see the food
Right.
and I would get full by just looking at it or like smelling it. It was weird,
Gotcha.
but yeah.
Man. Do you feel like any of those medications like have any side effects on you? Like, do you like, for example, like gastro issues? Do you ever feel like it's does it bother your stomach because there's too strong, or like any side effects from those? Or you feel like
Mm,
your body handles them well?
so far, my body handles it well, except the iron pill. I took the iron pill the other day and I was like super nauseous. So I'm gonna have to take that with
Mm.
food. And then I also started another medication like 2 days ago. I lied to you about that. It's called sulfamethoxazole. It's to
Let's
help with,
go.
you know that one?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I think that one gave me heartburn.
Wait, so is that the okay, wait. Sulfamethyl that I took that for bacterial infection.
Yes, they're
Let's
telling
go.
me,
It's the same one.
yeah, yeah. They said that they're giving me that so I can like avoid infection because I had they thought I had like
That's
a
wild.
small infection not that long ago, so they cleared
That's
that.
that's crazy because so I took that for my bacterial prostatitis issues,
Mm.
and yo, I mean
How do you feel
that's
about
what,
that?
how do
Like
I
how do you
feel about
feel?
my
Yeah, the
like,
sofa.
I mean everything. Yeah, I didn't feel like it was a I'm sensitive with like medications, so I
Mhm.
didn't feel like it was anything bad. I took that with food, and
Mm.
everything was good. It did help me with my bacterial infection and my inflammation because my prostate was inflamed. Like it was,
Mhm.
um, it was enlarged, and it helped me kill like the bacteria
Mm.
for the most part, which saved my life, bro, because I was
Wow.
going through it. That's another story for another day. I have so much information on that on my
Crazy.
channel that it's crazy. But when you mentioned that, I was like, my brain triggered. I was like, I've heard of that
That
because
word.
yeah, people on my channel asked about that medication. Like, what medication was it? But another name for that, I think, is Bactrim, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yes. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I I know I don't know the real name. I just know the hard name.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And it's so crazy how we like know how to pronounce the medications, and then the nurses are like, "How do you say that? Like, how do you pronounce it?" I'm just like, "Oh, it's called this." And then yeah, they kind of get like, how do
Yeah.
you say it? They're like, "Oh, wow. You know how to say that? This is a very tough word." I'm like, "You're the nurse. You should know how to say sulfamethoxazole." But
Sulfa
whatever.
methyl saxo. It's so
Zaxol.
hard. Sulfa methyl
Zaxol, I think.
Zaxo. I think
Yeah,
you're right. I think
yeah.
you're right. Nah, that's crazy how you're taking that. So it's being used to kill a bacteria that you apparently have.
To avoid getting
Oh,
an
avoid.
infection, like I think a viral infection or something like that. Like, because
Mm,
I have low immune system right now because of the tacro. I'm immunocompromised. I cannot say that word. Immunocompromised. I can get like a cold like so quick, or like
mm.
I can get like I think it's called pneumonia or something like that, like very easily. So I think the sulfa helps not get sick so quickly.
Yeah, I recently had a upper respiratory infection.
There it
The
goes.
doctor the doctor didn't really say what kind of upper respiratory infection
They
was
never
it,
do.
but I haven't gotten my sense of smell and taste back. Now
Oh.
I didn't get tested for COVID, right?
Mhm.
But I still haven't gotten my like fully sense of taste. Like I still struggling with it a lot actually. So I might go get to the doctor and ask like why that could be.
Mhm.
But I'm wondering, the reason I'm saying that's because I'm wondering when you get like upper respiratory infection, since you already have like, problems with your lungs, how bad is it for you? Like, how does it really mess you up? Like, does it feel like,
It
you
brings me
know,
down. I've noticed,
yeah,
back then I would just I don't even know how I would deal with the cold back then, but now that I'm, like, more sicker than how I used to be years ago, it just like, I just feel like a blob, like, I cannot leave my bed. I don't even wanna do anything, I don't even wanna get up and shower or eat. It's just, like, it brings me down so bad that I
man.
just wanna do is sleep. It takes a toll on me, it really does. But once, they my PCP brings me back up, I feel like a new person. Like, he's like an angel, like, my PCP, he's great.
That's good. I was asking because this time around that I had that, it really messed me up, and it took weeks for it to go away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I still have, like I told you, problems with like my taste and my smell. And I'm like, this is not normal. And I feel like this was a little bit different than when COVID was around. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to make an appointment myself to see, just let him know, like, hey, this is what's going on, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, I was gonna ask you so really cool, and I want people to hear this. So recently, I want you to tell us what the experience was like because you were interviewed by Univision, if I'm not
No,
mistaken. Is it
Telemundo.
Telemundo? Telemundo. All right.
Yeah,
So you were interviewed by Telemundo
I
recently,
was.
and I'm probably gonna leave the link to your story on my YouTube channel if you
Okay.
can send it to me on the description so people can see it. But I thought it was really good. How was that experience? What happened? How did they reach out to you? Kind of give us some insights on how that
Okay.
was, because I'm assuming it was Telemundo on your local area,
Yeah.
right? Like Texas,
Mhm. I
right?
think it was Telemundo 29 or 39. I don't watch TV, but I know it's one of those. It's local here in DFW in Dallas. So my sister-in-law actually knows the lady that did the interview, that did my
Oh,
interview. She knows her. And they were talking about me, and she had thought that I wasn't a local, like she thought that I lived somewhere else, but then she found out that I actually live in Texas, and she was saying that she wanted to reach out and see if I was interested in sharing my story as part of Mother's Day. Um, and she reached out and we agreed on doing an interview like 2 days later because she was about to go on vacation, and I was like, "I'm not
oh.
ready," and she said, "Well, if I wanna get this story, like, before Mother's Day and I don't come back until May 6th, and I need this, like, either tomorrow or Friday," and I'm just like, "Alright, come Friday," and then it was just, like, super last minute, but she made me feel so comfortable. She came to my house.
You said
It was
comfortable or uncomfortable?
comfortable.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
she made me feel really comfortable with her and the camera guy. They came to my house early, I think at I wanna say 9 in the morning,
okay.
and we were in my living room and we're just talking. They started recording and it was like a regular genuine conversation with a friend. You know, it was very, very cool. I thought I was gonna be nervous and it was in Spanish. So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I actually went on Google the night before and I started Googling, like, words, like, how
Where's
you say this in
the
Spanish? I mean,
medical
I'm not a
terminology?
Sabo, but I don't know a few words, like, in
Are you
Spanish, like
sure?
no,
Are you sure you're
no,
not a no
no,
sabo
no,
kid?
I'm not a no Sabo, no. But there's specific words in English that I have no idea how to say them in Spanish. So I
Facts.
Googled them and I'm like, "This is how you say it." And then I made sure that I taught myself how to say
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 words that I wanted to say, and, I think I did use them on the interview, I'm not sure. It was fun.
That sounds so exciting, and it's funny because you're right. The medical terminology, like knowing it and translating in like in Spanish, is like it's a struggle. When I have to
Yeah.
go translate for my mom, I'm over here trying to figure out how to say certain words. I forget how to say kidney sometimes because I think it's like the word liver, and I'm just like I get it mixed up. I'm like, man, that's really tough.
Yeah.
How long was it in total, by the way? Like how long was it when it aired? What was the airtime?
Mm,
Do you remember? It was a couple minutes, I'm assuming, no?
it was 4 minutes long, my, my story. Yeah, and I think they aired it at 5 in the morning, and then 6:30 in
Woo!
the morning, and then again at 11, and then again at 4, and then I
Dang.
think they played it, like I don't know if they played it at night, but they did play it at least 4 times.
Oh, because what happened? Because wait, when did it air on a Mother's Day?
On
Like on,
Mother's
on
it was
it's
on Friday,
Friday.
Mother's Day.
Yeah, Hispanics Mother's Day.
Yeah, May 10th.
Yeah. Wow, man, that's so cool. Like being part of that.
Yeah,
Hey, listen, you're making a big impact on people.
I
You're
know.
making
I
a
was like
big impact. I know.
I
You
was
you
so
should
nervous.
feel
I would never have known that I would be even given the opportunity to, like, share my story, like, on TV, because 'cause I'm very, like, just not shy, but I'm very private, and then I think for
right.
me, that it was a huge step to, like, go on social media and, like, tell the whole world, and I'm like, "Oh, it's not that bad," and then, like, TV, that's, like, a whole 'nother level.
That's a level. Nah, yeah,
Mhm.
we're going like this. We're going up, up, up. You're
Right?
making different. You're making different moves. But I'm sure that the way if you continue, this is why I'm telling you, open your YouTube channel, girl, because
Mhm.
uh, I'm
I
telling
haven't
you, I know, but I'm telling you, you're gonna make a continue to make a difference, and I'm glad that you got that spotlight because I feel like your story is very beautiful, and it'll touch a lot of people, especially come on Mother's Day. They know what they're doing. Whew,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah, you
banger.
know, I actually had the other day an old friend from high school call me, and I was like, "What? How'd you get my number?" She said, "Oh my god, I saw your story on TV the other day, and I had to get your number from I don't know who from, and I was just trying to make sure you're good. Like, you're getting a transplant. Did you already get it?" I'm like, "No." I had to explain to her, like, "No, it's not." I was like, if I had gotten it, I would not have answered the phone call. So I was just telling her, like,
Right.
I'm like, "Yeah, I'm on the list. I'm just waiting." And she had called me, and it was just so weird because she saw me on TV and she reached out 'cause she
Yeah.
saw me. And I'm just like, dang, I wonder who else watched it.
I wonder who else saw it. That's crazy,
Right.
right? I was still
Mm-hmm.
amount of people, man. That is that's so cool. I wonder what that's like, but I'm glad you got to experience it because that I feel like that's a really good feeling. So keep spreading your story. Has what about the Instagram people? Have they ever reached out back to you? I know they do a lot of. I saw a lot of different stories on there as well. I was thinking about reaching out to other people, like the same thing I did with you, and like seeing if like people want to share their story because a lot of people suffer from so many different things, man. Like so many chronic issues.
Instagram people.
The IG site that you share your story with. That's the reason I reached out to you. It was
The the chronically ill.
the yeah, I think it was something club. I don't remember
Yeah, the
exactly which one
Chronic
it was.
Love Club. There it goes.
Yeah, there you go.
No, they reached out. I mean, they follow me and they like my stuff sometimes here
Yeah,
and there. But no, they haven't really reached out to like share anything. I would say
yeah,
maybe we didn't really give out shout outs and stuff, but I haven't really like messaged them
yeah,
or anything like that. I don't like to bother. I would say like if they come to me, I'll be like, yeah, for sure, but I don't like to like go and
yeah,
like ask. That's just how
right,
I feel. And it goes back to like me being like kind of like publicly shy. Like I'd rather just not ask for
right.
publicity unless they hit me up. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, that I feel you. I respect that, and you do want to keep your privacy, but I feel like I mean, hey, those posts really be hitting people, man, because I'll be reading
Mhm.
and like I might leave the link to that so people can see it on the YouTube channel and stuff.
I love
Um,
reading the stories.
those stories are
They're pretty
powerful.
intense and powerful. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, they're definitely powerful. All right. So, is there anything else that you would like to share to the people that are listening to you, that are watching you? Anything, any words, positive vibes? Maybe what should we expect from you soon? Because I definitely, if you were to get the transplant, eventually I would like to have you back on. Or if
Right.
like there's like another like more big news, I would definitely love to have you back on to keep people updated. I love doing updates
Mhm.
because I feel like people who ever find my channel and they find your story, they can see that there's more than one video of like you and your process of going through all of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty much just going with the flow. And obviously I will be continuing to share, my experience, and if I do get the call, the first people that are gonna know is my Instagram. Like,
Let's go.
because I it's like a mass notification instead of texting people like, hey, I just got my transplant, like, or I'm
Right,
about to go get it. Like I rather just post it so people know. Because if I just become inactive, it's because I'm like recovering. So I'm obviously gonna try to post it and record and show like the process. That's my plan, to
right.
show and just spread more awareness with that. But I mean, I'm just focusing more on myself right now. Being able to
Okay.
work out and continue to gain weight, and just that's my main focus right now. Other than that, I would love to you know, come back on your platform and update everyone with whatever happens. I don't know if it's gonna be next week, next month, in a few months. I don't know. It's whenever life decides to give me that.
Yeah, yeah. We'll be praying, man. I'll be praying for you. I'll definitely keep you
Yeah.
in my prayers, and hopefully you get that call soon. Even though
Thank you.
you know what's happening on the other end too of that,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
but God's timing, God's speed.
No,
I just do
definitely.
want to say I appreciate you again coming back on and sharing your stories because I do have a lot of people on my YouTube channel, even if they're sick or not, or they're going through struggles in life. I think you kind of appreciate hearing people like yourself and reminding each and every day that life is a blessing. Life is a
For
gift,
sure.
and even the little things you have to be happy for. You have to be grateful for what you got, right? Even though you may not understand what it feels like something's getting taken away from you in life,
Mhm.
but I feel like listening, what you're doing is helping other people not feel alone, right?
Yeah, yeah, for
Because
sure.
in my channel, there's a lot of people that always tell me, let me tell you something, right? That I don't open up too much, but so many people on my channel come and they always come to and have these messages of man, I don't want to live anymore, like I'm giving up. I mean, thoughts of, suicide and thoughts of giving up, and the negative thoughts that we've all gone through, you know what I'm saying? Like, but something so powerful is, I'm so glad I found your channel because I can relate to you, or I'm so glad I found
Mhm.
your channel because I understand and I don't feel alone. And I feel
It
like
gives
you
me
sharing
hope.
exactly, and
Mhm.
I feel like you sharing your story, even if it's on my platform, there's people that will appreciate, some of the little things that, even though they might not be perfect or in perfect condition or perfect health,
Right.
they will be able to understand and appreciate and be grateful for what they have, because it is a constant battle, it is a struggle, but taking it a day at a time and keeping a positive mindset, it's how you're gonna have to go about your issues, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and with you saying that, I've received messages like that too. I think I received one or two from coming from your YouTube that sent me a DM on Instagram whenever you posted that, and they were like, "Oh, I found you on YouTube. I saw your story. I
Wow.
don't have the same thing, but I have this, and it's another like lung disease, but I just connected with your story, and I wanna see you do good." And like they follow me, and they're just there like watching my stuff
Wow.
and appreciating, or like, I'm sorry, not appreciating, but like showing love and like being more active with my stories. And I'm just like, wow, like there's a few people out here that are very active with, continue to see, my stories, and being actively like supporting it, which is not weird, but it's like it's amazing to me because it's
Yeah.
always usually strangers, and it's like I don't know what kind of impact I'm giving them by just
Yeah.
sharing my story. As long as it's positive, I'm all for it. And I think that's the
Right.
good thing about me sharing my story and you sharing yours as well. Just giving support and motivation and hope to people out there.
Hope is that's such a great word. Hope. I feel like that's the last thing that a human being loses.
Mhm.
Everything can go to crap, but your hope, if you still have that hope, you still keep fighting. You still
Yeah,
have that, and I think that's the reason relating to other people gives you more hope, because you're like, oh, they're struggling, but look at them, they're doing so many different
so
things, and
good.
like,
Yeah.
exactly. That's a definitely positive mindset. So thank you again for sharing that. Thank you for coming on here. I really appreciate you and taking your time with me. And of course, we're gonna stay in touch and keep
Of
each other
course.
updated. And again, we'll be praying for you. And thank you for coming on the podcast this time around.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this was another podcast of your favorite podcast. Don't forget that you can watch the video if you are listening to all the platforms on YouTube. And well, I usually say this is a 4K, but because we're recording virtually, this will be in 1080p. But regardless, a lot of my podcasts you can watch it in 4K. Don't forget that you can listen to all my podcasts in all the audio platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Don't forget to go there and show some love. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the platforms, and I'll keep you coming with a lot of more good content. So I appreciate you guys watching in, or I appreciate you guys listening. I will leave every description, even Miranda's Instagram, so you guys, if you want to reach out to her, you can, and all the descriptions down below on the description of the video. So thank you guys. See you guys next week or whenever I post a podcast. Take care of each other. Peace and love, baby. See you guys on the next one.